2009, Rose Bly left her rural Polk County home to visit a cousin in nearby Cushing, Wisconsin. It was the last time her family ever saw her.
The family's hurting. You know, that's why we're here today.
First-year Sheriff Brent Walk is making Bly's case a priority at the 10-year mark. Investigators have already interviewed 150 people and handled 200 tips.
Our focus now is to shift and try something new.
That includes releasing an age progression photo of what Bly would look like now at 31. And then there's this video.
And it's horrible. It's hard to deal with. Very hard to deal with.
The sheriff's office interviewed Bly's mother in a short video distributed to followers on social media.
It's not a good feeling. It's just, I wish I knew where she was.
We hope people share the story. We hope people start talking again about this. We want this to be in the forefront of what's going on.
The sheriff's office has never identified any suspects or any possible motive, but there was one early clue. Just days after she went missing, police found Bly's car here in this public parking lot in Grantsburg, about 30 miles north of where she lived. But still, there was no sign of Bly herself. Investigators at least recovered evidence and DNA from the car in Grantsburg. That town still remembers the case.
It's in the back of people's minds.
Megan Schauenberger was only a few years younger than Bly when she disappeared and wants to see this case solved.
It means a lot, especially for this town. This town itself has been through a lot, but her family.
Bly's children have never known their mother.
This mystery is solvable. We just need to get that vital piece of information.
Danny Spiewak, KARE 11 News.
Okay, I think we'll get started here. I want to thank everybody for coming here today. This week marks 10 years in the disappearance of Rose Marie Bly. 10 years ago, Rose Marie Bly left her residence in rural St. Croix Falls, destined for Cushing, and she never has been seen since. At the Sheriff's Office, our goal here is to take a new investigative approach to this cold case. We've produced a video. We're going to show that video in a little bit. We're going to provide you a copy of the video as well. Our hope is that we can stimulate some talk in the social media avenues, as well as just get our message out to the community that we are still looking for answers to the mystery of the disappearance of Rose Bly. Her mother has not seen her in 10 years. Our community wants these questions answered. Since 2009, we've handled over 200 tips on this case, and we've interviewed over 150 people. We're hoping that by releasing this video that we can gain some more information, that somebody out there knows something and they can come forward and help us bring this mystery to a close. Chad, would you like to show the video?
Tucked away in the rolling hills and dense forests of northwest Wisconsin is a landscape so beautiful you'd swear it was taken directly from a painting. But if you look close enough, there is a dark cloud lingering in the distance, a secret that these roads have held onto for far too long, a secret that has haunted Candace Hare in this community for 10 long years.
And it's horrible. It's hard to deal with. Very hard to deal with. And my life will never be normal without knowing where my daughter is.
On August 21st, 2009, Rose Marie Bly left her residence in St. Croix Falls, Wisconsin, believed to be en route to Cushing, just a short 6-mile drive to the east. The 21-year-old mother of 2 never made it. Days later, Bly's 2001 Pontiac Grand Am was found in the village of Grantsburg, nearly 17 miles north of her house, with no explanation as to how it got there. No one has seen or heard from her since. There hasn't been a day that has gone by when Candace Hare hasn't wondered where her youngest daughter is, or if she's okay.
With a missing child, there's a hole in your heart that can't be filled. And it's an impossible journey every day to wake up and wonder where she is. trying to figure out where my daughter is. It's just, it's horrible. It's not a good feeling. It's just, I wish I knew where she was.
My name is Brent Walk, and I'm the Polk County Sheriff.
When Rose Bly went missing, Brent Walk was a patrol sergeant with the Polk County Sheriff's Department. Now Sheriff Walk in his office had made finding Bly a top priority. To date, the Sheriff's Department has investigated more than 200 tips and have interviewed more than 150 people. Still, the same question remains. Where is Rose Bly?
Well, I sympathize with the family of Rose because they want to know the answers, much like we do. And when these answers are largely unknown, that's very difficult to deal with when you have to keep questioning what happened to Rose and where did she go. And certainly that is the solution we're looking for. We want to bring closure to this. 10 years, a decade, that's a lot of time. And you just look at what's changed in our lives and our careers, yet alone this case is still out there. And we would like to bring conclusion to it.
10 years.
I tried to avoid this area. And I can't. It just draws me back. And I don't know.
Years of worry and wondering. A full decade Rose's children have had to spend without their mother. Someone knows something. Someone has the key. Everyone agrees it's time for this mystery to be solved. It's time for Rose to come home.
Not sure which way, but she's out there somewhere. It's hard not to cry. Even just out here looking, it just brings tears to my eyes. Not knowing what actually really happened. Rosie, if you're out there, I still have the same number. I want to bring her home.
Okay, the video ended. We had the age-enhanced photo, and we've had one blown up here. If Rose is out there, obviously, we believe she could look like that. So we felt that was important to this case. We also have the tip line, 715-485-8300. And if anybody out there knows anything about Rose Bly, please come forward. Our hope is that Rose Bly could come home and knock on the door and say, "Mom, I'm home." But we really am asking for help for some information. So I thank all of you for coming today. We've given you the copy of that video. Share it. You have our permission to share the video, to take whatever you need from that. Does anybody have any questions they would like to ask?
The confusion, I guess, on the plan that she was going to Cushing to meet with a cousin, I understand? I mean, I guess that's kind of always been a little unclear as to what happened that night when she didn't show up. Was it just I got stood up, you know, or did she just kind of blow it off, or that's kind of confusing as to how.
Great. Greg, there's been a lot of information pertaining to this case, and when the case unfolded, it was largely thought at initially as a missing person case. But we've looked at a lot of angles on this, and again, our focus now is to shift and try something new. This is new for us, to reach out and do a video and try to get this out into the public. Somebody knows where she was going. Somebody knows what happened, where she is, and that's what we're really hoping to gather.
Where will this be shared to get exposure?
Well, we are going to be boosting it on our Sheriff's Office Facebook, so Polk County Sheriff's Department Facebook. We will have that on there. And, you know, if we can get some media coverage of this story, we would greatly appreciate that. We'll also have it on the Polk County Sheriff's Department's website, which is also linked to the Facebook.
Do you have any suspects, any persons of interest that you're able to divulge to the public?
You know, we have treated this case now as a missing person. We're willing to look at anything, and there's no, you know, this is an open case, and we'll take any lead and work any lead that we get. So as it stands now, it's a missing person case, and we really want to show people that, you know, our community is hurting with the loss of Rose Bly. We have family that are hurting because of the loss of Rose Bly. Where is she? And we want her to, we want to put conclusion to this case.
So was there any evidence extracted from her vehicle after it was found?
There was.
And any DNA evidence now in the 10 years since it was used, or?
I don't want to go into a lot of the actuals of the case. That's not our purpose today. But yes, there was some DNA evidence.
Has that been part of the problem, do you think, that this all along has been a missing person case and not something else?
No,
because you didn't give, I don't remember the case at all.
Sure.
From the Minneapolis media coming up, and normally something like that we would run to, but I think when we hear just kind of a missing person case, it kind of falls up the back burner.
And especially when I was looking at old scripts, this morning one of them said that authorities do not believe any foul play involved.
Yeah, and again, we're willing to look at any angle, and we've explored a lot of different issues with this case, and we really feel our strongest chance to bring closure to this is to reach out to the public, is to have someone come forward with that critical piece of information.
We were talking a little bit before the meeting just about how social media has changed in 10 years. Is there a hope that because even since 2009 that technology has evolved, that maybe you can have a farther reach with this?
Yeah, we are a connected society now. That's fabulous. And that's our hope, that through our social media connections, we can stimulate the conversation. So we hope people share the story. We hope people start talking again about this. We want this to be in the forefront of what's going on. And that's the key to bringing this to conclusion.
In the time from when she was missing and you found her car, were you able to put together a puzzle where the car was through surveillance video throughout the county or anything? Right,
and there's no explanation why that car was in Grantsburg. They did extensive searching, as I recall. There was a lot of effort to find Rose, and that has never gone away. I don't really like the name cold case because I think it implies we've pushed it off to the side. And as law enforcement, we never give up. We never quit searching for the answers. And that is always in the back of every officer's mind, where's Rose Bly? On a lot of unrelated cases, if we've had an opportunity to talk to somebody, we've thrown that question out there because this mystery is solvable. We just need to get that vital piece of information.
Sure, there's a number of rumors that have kind of been recycled over the years on this. Can you maybe dispel some of those or kind of talk about that so it's not whipped back up over something that you've investigated 8 years ago?
Well, again, Greg, we really want to get away from anything rumor related. You know, we want to focus on the facts of this case, and I'm not really familiar with what the rumor has stirred up, but I can tell you that we want this to be positive. We don't want to drum up a bunch of misinformation. We want anybody out there who may know something about this case to reach out to our tip line. We would ask not to use the social media to, the best avenue is to call our tip line. We want everybody to share the video, but if you have information, please call our tip line. That's the best way we're going to get through this. And our investigators are familiar with the case in its entirety and will sift through any of that could come out. But we're really focused on using technology to push this case out into the open.
Going back 10 years ago, was she in a bad relationship or was there a person of interest back then that name keeps popping up with you guys?
There there were many people looked at, and at this point, you know, it's still a missing person case. We're not finger pointing at this point. We are looking for information, and that's the focus here today.
How are kids doing? How old are they now? Like 14, 15? I mean, are they
Yeah,
in high school now, or?
I believe that the children were 2 and 1 when this case happened. But yeah, it's.
So they really don't remember their mom?
No.
Are they with their father, or they live with grandma, or?
I don't want to discuss the location of where the kids would be. The point is, the family's hurting. You know, that's why we're here today. We have a family that misses their loved one. And that's what the goal of this is today, to bring Rose home.